The agenda this week measured Canada's data deficit, gauged the extent of dangerous declines in insect populations, and had a memorable visit from children's musicians Sharon and Bram. The agenda's Week in Review begins reflecting on the genocide in Rwanda 25 years on. Where were you when the genocide began?
Thank you, Steve. I was in Remera, which is very close to the area where the peacekeepers, the UN peacekeepers were hosted, the Stadium Amahoro, it's called. I lived in the neighborhood, and I worked for ICRC, which is the International Committee for the Red Cross.
Yes.
And I was in my middle 20s. I was a young mother. My firstborn was 2 years old.
Where were you at the time?
I was in Kigali, close to a Saint Famille Church, but I was living close to the bridge where Captain Mbaye died, and I was very young. I was finishing my university, and life was just promising.
How old were you at the time?
I was 26.
26. When you heard that the plane had been shot down, did you think hell was about to be unleashed?
Yes, I did, because we knew a few months, even a couple of years before, the militias have been trained how to kill and kill systematically. The lists have been made. Every household member had to be put on the list, even the youngest child, even a pregnant woman. Everyone in the household has been put on the list. We knew that it was coming, probably not to the magnitude that it happened. And also, we were kind of naive in a way, because seeing what the UNAMIR was around, they had helicopters, they had tanks, they had trucks and military, the boots on the ground. So we felt probably the elites, the people in the politics may be killed, but we felt we will be protected.
By whom?
But usually the UN, there was a heavy presence of the UN, especially in Kigali. Mm-hmm. And we do know if Kigali has been protected, the countryside could have been protected as well.
Did you think hell was about to be unleashed when that plane was shot down?
Yes, I did. There had been killing rehearsals taking place in the country.
Rehearsals?
Yes.
What did that mean?
It means they practiced how to kill Tutsi to see if no one was going to say anything. They started in Kibirira, in Bugesera, in a place in Kibuye. So they had been killing people, and obviously there was, apart from Antonia Rocatelli, an Italian religious was living in Bugesera who tried to raise awareness. Nobody did anything. So when the plane was shot, we knew it was over. But we couldn't believe it would go to that level, because the UN were there, the RPF was there, and we kind of believed there could be some massacres, but not a total cleansing.
Eugene, how did you survive?
That's a tough question, but there is no formula. It's just minute after minute. Every second, the next second, you feel alive the second, but you know the next second you won't be there.
There was a big story in the New York Times not too long ago with the headline, Insect Apocalypse. What's been the reaction to that?
First news story that they did on our work, Andres and myself work, they called it Insect Armageddon. And I was just like, oh no, what are they doing? My reputation is shot. Because scientists just don't speak in terms of these over-the-top metaphors and language. About extinction, we're very careful not to use that word unless we're absolutely sure a species is going extinct in a given group. And most scientists lead lives of quiet obscurity. But suddenly you're thrust into a spotlight and you realize the importance of journalism and shows like yours. So we came to the realization that there was time, past the time, to start using strong language, to start telling the story very forcefully as we could.
Well, we apologize in advance for contributing to your lack of obscurity then, which will continue as a result of your being here, we hope. Jessica, come on in here and tell us whether or not you concur with the analysis you've heard so far.
I think that the idea that we should all be concerned is a commonly felt one among entomologists, which are the folks that are the scientists that study insects. We all kind of have anecdotal evidence that suggests that insects are declining, and these 3 or 4 main studies that have recently come out that kind of sound the alarm, like Brad was saying, those kind of give us a visceral reaction saying, oh, I've noticed this too. The problem is, of course, we don't have enough of these studies. So would that we could have the type of study that Brad did in Puerto Rico replicated over and over again in all of the different habitats that insects inhabit. That type of data would really give us a powerful conclusion that we could take to our policymakers and take to the public.
Well, let me ask the obvious follow-up question, which is, if there are many, many, many fewer insects, so what?
Well, I mean, the issue, of course, is that there's lots of things that rely on insects. Humans, of course, there's a lot of ecosystem services that insects do for us. Many of the things that you've already done today, actually, your life has already been touched in some way by insects, from the food that you ate to the fact that when you went outside, you weren't tripping over undecomposed logs and such. I mean, termites do a great service for us. But getting people to be excited about saving maggots or saving horseflies or saving termites, that's always going to be a bit of a hard sell.
Victoria, would you mind following up on that, in as much as I suspect a lot of people watching us right now will think, as we head into the summer and cottage country, what, no black flies? I'm okay with that. Oh, no mosquitoes? I'm okay with that.
The problem is, as much as we don't like mosquitoes or black flies, they're just such a critical part of the ecosystem.
How so?
There's just so many things feed on them, whether it's things like the frogs or the birds, and then ripple effects through there. Like, what are the birds? If you lose a bird singing in the trees, would you notice that? If you lose the frogs, singing in the summertime, would you notice that? Would you notice just changes in everything from the flowers to the trees and everything beyond? We don't know these interactions that are happening in the landscape. Sure, one species, what do we care? There's thousands of bugs out there. There's umpteen types of mosquitoes alone. Who cares if there's just one mosquito goes away? But the problem is we don't know the ripple effects. We're concerned about what happens if we do lose one species.
I want to put this issue on the table for some considerable discussion, and that is, there may have been a time, both in this province and maybe nationally, when politicians wanted good, accurate information upon which to base their decisions. I don't know if we live in that world anymore. We may live in a world now where things are so ideological, politicians aren't that interested in getting empirically provable facts to make their decisions. They just want to do what they want to do for the reasons they want to do them. Tavia, what do we do about that?
Well, first of all, that can blow up in your face. When we base decisions on either faulty data or no data. And the example I'm thinking of that you would probably remember is when we were determining that there was a massive labor shortage in Canada, which was at odds with federal Statistics Canada data. It turned out that the source that the then federal government was using was Kijiji. Those ads were not a reliable source. The whole premise of a labor shortage was faulty, but it was the justification to bring in many, many temporary foreign workers. So there's very real-world implications when you base things on unreliable data or none at all. And then the other thing I would say is fiscal considerations. So if you are worried about your budget and you want to spend money as wisely as possible, you want to target programs and you want to measure the impact of programs. And so I think this will help people make smarter decisions that in turn are better for the economy and better for our budget.
Do you see, Sunil, less interest by politicians in the reports that you produce because they already know what they want to do and don't bother me with the facts, as it were?
They're always interested in our reports. I mean, I can't speak for others. I think one of the challenges inside governments is there's very little money spent on program evaluation. I mean, depends on the numbers you look at, but you're talking about 0.1, 0.2% of overall program expenditures actually measure the effectiveness of programs.
Should be higher?
Should be much higher. I mean, if we're in a world now in Ontario where the government wants to get out of deficit and we're talking $10, $12 billion in savings identified over the next 3 or 4 years, how are you going to decide which programs aren't working and we should terminate? And how are you going to decide which programs are working well? And the only answer to that is understanding program evaluation and having accurate measurement of this program is great, this program is not so great. But the problem is there are a lot of disincentives to effective evaluation inside governments because no government wants to put their hand up and say, guess what? That multi-billion-dollar program we announced 3 years ago had no effects. That's embarrassing. It's a political loser. Bureaucrats also don't want to be identified as having worked on programs that don't work.
You know, at the end of the day, it's the politicians who get elected, and at the end of the day, they have to be accountable for their decisions. If they want to disregard data, and if they want to go with either their gut or what they think their base wants or whatever, aren't they entitled to do that?
Well, I don't know about entitled. I would question what's good for the country. You know, take a specific example like healthcare as the population ages and people are living alone. And we need to plan for long-term care and we need to plan for people aging in place and we need to know how money gets spent between hospitals and social services. How can politicians not want to have a data-driven approach to the next 20 years of what's going to happen in Canada?
Because it might help their re-election chances if they follow what their base wants.
To make their choices based on who is going to support evidence-driven decision-making. Yes, it's the buzzword, but we're not going to prosper if we succumb to populism that says we don't need the facts. We need the facts. And Canadians have to understand that data makes a difference to the quality of their lives.
Candidly. And I remember I asked Tony Bennett this question as well.
You're going to say, do you get sick of it?
Well, you know, I asked Tony, do you get sick of saying I left my heart in San Francisco over and over and over and over and over? So I got to ask you the same question.
Never.
The answer is no.
Really?
Never.
No.
Never.
The thought is great. The feeling is great. The way it ties families together, singing to each other, father to daughter, mother to son, etc., grandparents. It's so strong, it's so simple, and it's so strong that I thought we'd get tired of it.
Yeah.
But nobody ever
But you never
has.
did.
No.
Never. And you know, you see people leaving the concert singing it to each other. I mean, that's about the most beautiful thing that can happen.
It truly is, I think it truly is a mystery as to why any particular song
takes hold
clicks
like that.
right or doesn't.
Yeah.
Because there's probably lots of fabulous songs over the years that for whatever reason just didn't take hold.
That's true.
This one did.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
I think as Bram said, it's the message. It's the kindness that goes with it, the loving and the caring. I love you.
We do happen to have a lot of younger people who did grow up with you guys.
Hi.
So
you know all the actions, the I love you, of course you do.
we're going to try a little
This is great.
And you
This
too.
is great.
I'll do my, but listen, I haven't heard these songs in a while, right?
Well,
My
it's
kids
time
are older.
to hear it again.
I agree.
Do you have grandchildren?
No, not yet. And bite your tongue. No.
Don't ask them. But your kids still know it for sure.
Now, okay. Now you don't
We'll
have.
start it. We can do it.
You don't have your guitar here, but
No, we don't need it.
you'll lead,
You
we'll
don't
follow.
need a guitar.
Okay.
To
You
make
lead.
music, we don't. Here we go.
What? Skinnamarink, dinky dink, skinnamarink, doo. Take it.
I love you. We love you too.
Skinnamarink, dinky dink, skinnamarink, doo.
I love you. Put up the sun.
I love you in the morning and in the afternoon, da 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 da.
Evening
Underneath the moon, oh,
Skinnamarink, dinky dink, skinnamarink doo.
I love you.
I love your singing. I love you.
You're all terrific.
I love you. We love Steve. I love you too. Boop boop be doo.
And that is the Agenda's Week in Review for this Friday, April 26, 2019. You can see all of those conversations in their entirety at tvo.org, on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/theagenda, and on our Twitter feed. That's twitter.com/theagenda. The Agenda.
The Agenda with Steve Bacon is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario, helping businesses stay on the right side of change with strategic thinking, insightful decisions, and business leadership. Are you on the right side of change? Ask an Ontario CPA.